If I were to explain barefoot trail running, this is a good moment. I'm 35 or 36 kilometers down already. I left my house at like 9 o'clock on the dot, and now it's probably about 6:30 p.m. Yeah, I've come a long way, all barefoot. Now it's basically dark. I'm on these tiny little trails. Sometimes it's hard to know which way is the right way. Sometimes it's so dark that I can barely see where I'm standing. It's really interesting how important balance becomes when I can't really see where I'm stepping. My feet are very cold because it's winter time here. It's probably about 10 degrees at the moment. Ooh, that's a big patch of mud. When I go barefoot trail running, I love the sensation of my feet being very cold and very sore, and I know full well that I'm going to spend most of tomorrow completely destroyed, devastated, barely able to walk up some steps, because that's what's happened every other time. And I'm completely okay with that, because I love this. I love the silence that I find out here, being alone, reliant on just myself, my senses, and my tools. At the beginning, I got lost all the time. I'd lose the way. I would get lost, and it would take me a long time to get back to the trail, but I would usually make it. When I really started applying myself to this, and my feet started to really get strong enough to do 30 plus kilometers in a day on rocks and roots and mud and, did I say rocks? A lot of rocks and gravel and asphalt and a whole mix of stuff. That got me to the point where I could do this and walk and run and go all day. And at this point, my senses are so sharp. The cold sharpens one's senses. Pain sharpens one's senses. The uncertainty, not knowing what is going to be underneath my feet, each step, that uncertainty sharpens my senses, as does the fear of losing the way, as I currently have right now. Right down this way. I'm rather safer than you might think, because I can actually see the lights of the town just over there in the distance. I love the winter silence, and I love the wild. I saw 2 deer today. I really love the countryside in Catalonia. It's incredibly beautiful. I first fell in love with the countryside 3 years ago when I went to meditate. I set myself a challenge. 3 days. I would go out from the house where I was living, leave at dawn, nothing but a good jacket, about 1.5 liters of water. That was it. And I'd stay out there until the sun set and it got dark. On the first day, I just sat on top of a peak and meditated, and a wasp landed on my toe. It started eating my skin. It was eating the same spot. It just took a chunk after chunk after chunk out of me. And then it flew away, and there was a big wound on my toe. I just observed it the whole time, just watched it happen. it was interesting to be eaten, to be out in the wild and then get eaten by something. The experience of going out into nature and meditating and having a wasp eat me, I didn't do anything to stop it, so it just kept on going. Didn't have any empathy for how I might feel. It was just hungry. I like the realness of the wild. Growing up in a really safe place like New Zealand, when they went to New Zealand they wanted to make a really nice place, and then they created this little paradise. Everybody could be safe. It's different if you go to an African tribe. When the young men come of age, if they want to have a wife, they have to go through a very long and arduous and painful scarification process. Thorns are poked into the skin, and then the skin is pulled out, and then you use a very sharp rock or a razor blade these days to make an incision, and you do that hundreds of times. I think that these people, they understood that to be alive is to suffer. To be a grown-up, it means to suffer. To have values, things that you care about, has a cost. To live a life true to ourselves means to reconcile ourselves with the cost of doing so. Yeah, I think that these people who made it necessary to cover your whole body with massive cuts just to prove that you're ready to join the circle of life, I think these people understood that. So for me, going back to the wild and taking my shoes off and running around alone or with other people, it's just the most fulfilling and beautiful way to learn about myself and to learn about my roots and my ancestry and to learn a different way of living, a different possibility. And I just love it. It's the most fun thing in the world. So what is barefoot running to me? It's just having a good time, I guess. Yeah. And here I am finally, safe and sound in San Llorenç Savai, a beautiful town. I'm about ready for a beer and a sandwich and wait for the bus. Alright, well, thanks for tuning in, and lots of love. Bye bye.